planning your next vacation, scrolling through Instagram dreaming of Bali, Tokyo, or maybe a classic trip to Rome. We spend all year saving up for that perfect getaway to see the sights and make some memories. But what if you lived 800 years ago? Where did you go to get away from it all? Forget the beach. For medieval people, the ultimate travel goal was a pilgrimage. But as you'll see, their pilgrimage looked a whole lot like our tourism. They had guidebooks, hotels, and even souvenir shopping. So pack your walking staff. Here are the top tourism destinations according to medieval people. Number 4. Canterbury, England. This destination became a viral sensation overnight, but for a pretty grim reason. In 1170, the Archbishop Thomas Becket was murdered right inside his own cathedral. Almost immediately, people claimed miracles were happening at his tomb. Suddenly, Canterbury was the place to be. It became England's most important pilgrimage site, drawing visitors from all over Europe. You've probably heard of the original road trip story, Chaucer's Canterbury Tales. It's literally about a diverse group of pilgrims swapping stories on their way to the cathedral. Number 3. Santiago de Compostela, Spain. If you were the outdoorsy type, this was the trip for you. Santiago de Compostela is believed to be the burial site of St. James, one of Jesus' own disciples. But this trip was all about the journey. A whole network of roads, known as the Way of St. James, snaked across Europe, leading pilgrims to their destination. There were inns and hostels all along the route to support the travelers. The ultimate souvenir, a scallop shell. Pilgrims would wear it on their clothes to show where they'd been. A symbol recognized everywhere. Number 2. Rome, Italy. Rome, the eternal city. Just like for the grand tourists of the 19th century and for us today, Rome was a must-see destination. For medieval travelers, it was the heart of the Christian world where the Pope lived. The main draw was visiting the tombs of the most important saints, Peter and Paul, at St. Peter's Basilica. It wasn't the building we see today. The original was built way back in the 4th century and stood for over 1,000 years. But they were still totally impressed by the ancient ruins. We have medieval guidebooks like the Mirabilia Urbis Romae or Marvels of the City of Rome that describe the Pantheon, Trajan's Column, and the Colosseum. One tourist named Master Gregorius even wrote about seeing the famous statue of the wolf-suckling Romulus and Remus. So they were definitely sightseeing, not just praying. And the number 1 ultimate once-in-a-lifetime bucket list trip for any medieval European was Jerusalem. This was the big one. The center of the world. It was far away, difficult, and often dangerous to get to, but thousands of pilgrims made the journey. This is where they could literally walk in the footsteps of Jesus. The absolute main event was the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, the site of the crucifixion and resurrection. In fact, the Crusades were originally described as a kind of armed pilgrimage, and visiting this church was the final goal for every crusader. But the tour didn't stop there. Other popular sites included the Church of the Nativity in Bethlehem, the Sea of Galilee, and the Jordan River. And this kind of travel wasn't just for Christians. Muslim pilgrims, of course, undertook the Hajj to Mecca, with organized routes and caravans that looked a lot like the pilgrimage to Santiago. And famous travelers like Ibn Battuta journeyed across the known world. Jewish pilgrims like Benjamin of Tudela wrote detailed accounts of their travels to holy sites throughout the Near East. But how did they even get there? Well, it depended on your means. Most pilgrims traveled on foot, often in groups for safety and companionship, covering perhaps 15-20 miles a day. If you were wealthier, you might ride a horse or even be part of a larger mounted company. For longer distances, especially across the English Channel or the Mediterranean, ships were essential, though often slow and uncomfortable. Routes were well established, marked by inns, monasteries, and even specialized hospitals that offered lodging and care for travelers. It was an epic journey, no matter how you traveled. So, while they weren't exactly sitting on a beach, medieval people definitely had their own version of tourism. They had organized trips, guidebooks, and inns. They competed to attract visitors, and you can bet there was a shady market for fake holy relics, the original tourist trap. They may have traveled for faith, but they did it with the same sense of adventure and desire to see the wonders of the world that we have today. What medieval destination would you want to visit? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more trips back in time.